And I believe we're live. Hey there, what's up? Live long and prosper. Can you see my hand? This is Phil, and I'm back. Thank you, everyone who watches and watched the last couple of videos. I'm sorry about last week. I got a little bit sick. I actually uploaded season 1, episode 3 review yesterday night. So if you want to check that out, it was a little crazy because I did a whole review, and then at the very end, I got tagged for copyright infringement because I had done something similar to episode 2 where I showed shots from the episode as I had it downloaded on my computer. I guess I showed too much. So then I had to redo it, and the second version was a little wacky. So if you did watch that, I hope you enjoy it. It's a little bit crazy, and I was a little bit drunk. In fact, I'm drinking a little bit right now. This is some Brazilian beer. In case you don't know, I'm down here in Brazil. It's Colorado beer. It's actually really good. But I'm not tipsy, just a little bit tired. So thank you. Like and subscribe. Hit the little bell at the bottom so that you'll get a notification for when the next live stream is on. But it should be on every Thursday around this time. I'm in Brazil. It's 9:46. So usually I get on here around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Today I actually had a client cancel, so I got to watch the episode a little bit earlier. Therefore, I'm doing the live broadcast a little bit earlier. So glad to be with you, and let's get to it. This week's episode is called Absolute Candor, and it continues the journey of Mr. Jean-Luc Picard with his ragtag crew as they try to get to this, was it Cloud City? To find what they're looking for. Find what they're looking for. And right off the bat, I gotta say, this is a I don't know what I'm gonna rate this episode. I think I'm gonna get to the end to give it a rating. I thought some parts of it were really strong, some parts of it were a little bit meandering. I know that a criticism that the show has been getting so far is that it's taking too long to get to the point. It's a lot of setup, a lot of setup, a lot of setup. I didn't have that criticism of the show up to maybe this episode. It seemed like they took a really long time to get to what they needed to get to, which is basically adding another member to the crew. And then we get a surprise member at the end, which, by the way, spoilers, this is a spoiler recap review. So if you do not like spoilers or you have not watched the episode, do not watch this video, but please come back later and definitely watch it because, I love you guys so much. And thanks a lot, guys. I mean, we almost hit 100 views. And I always say to myself, I don't do this professionally. I don't have time to YouTube myself all the time and have that little set schedule. So for me to get 100 views on something, I know on Star Trek Discovery, I would average between 150, 200. I even got one that had 300. It was the episode that I liked the least, actually. That got about 300 views. That's awesome. It's 300 people I do not know who spent some time to listen to me. That's cool. So thank you for those of you that do listen, watch, however you get around to this. So I'm going to hold my review to the end because I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure yet. I do have some notes here. They're down here, actually, that I wrote because I forget everything. So some quick things that I noticed, that I wrote down. First, Dr. Girardi. I mentioned last video that I really, really, really am enjoying her character. Although this episode, I don't know what they did. Tonally, she seemed a little bit different. It gave me a little bit of Tilly vibes, which is cool. She's not like overboard Tilly, because Tilly is a character that a lot of people did really like in Star Trek Discovery. And including myself, except that I think they went overboard with her loopy, I don't really know why I'm here. It's like at some point, come on, you had to pass through Starfleet. You need to have some level of maturity. And I think that's my biggest criticism with Tilly. Like, they need to tone her down. I like her very bubbly personality, kind of a fish out of water, even though she's a super genius, maybe not socially, kind of like, was it Lieutenant Barclay? So Girardi didn't come off like that at all until, I mean, I guess last episode where she's like, "Oh, did I kill him?" And she was a little bit shocked. Maybe I guess she is. I mean, she is kind of a fish out of water out in space, but I just expect her to be a little bit more mature. I don't want her to turn into like the comic relief character. I don't think that's a good role for her because I really like how serious of a character she was as a doctor, especially, and as uh, a genius, basically. Somebody who knows all there is to know about synthetic life forms. So I hope this isn't a tonal change that sticks for the rest of the season, and they maintain her as a semi-serious character. Over on the Borg ship, not much really happened that I thought was interesting. Maybe that's why I'm withholding my number rating for this episode until the end, because I'm still kind of hashing it out in my mind. They have that whole reclamation project thing. We didn't see any more of Hugh. I'm still not sure what the deal is as far as people coming and going. The Romulan dude's sister comes and goes at will, it seems. So let me just get something here. I always think I have everything prepared, and I never do, guys. It sucks. Something? I do these immediately after I watch the show because I want to get it out there, which means sometimes I think I'm prepared and I'm not completely prepared. So I guess we are thinking, or I'm thinking of Nurik, Harry Treadaway. He's a Romulan spying on Soji Asha for a secret society. So he, yeah, I guess it's supposed to be like that we're not really sure who he is, how he manages to get on this ship, what exactly he's doing. But what I don't exactly get is his sister, which is called Lieutenant Rizzo. And she's a planted Romulan spy, acting as an agent for Starfleet security. I guess, because in the first few episodes, it was like a hologram, but this episode, she was like choking him out. So is she actually on the Borg cube? And if so, how did she get in? How did she get clearance? Does Starfleet know about this Borg cube? A lot of unanswered questions, but not in a sense of like that I feel like I want to know more. More like you should have explained better. Because Picard is full of I want to know mores. That's kind of cool. That part of Picard I really, really, really like so far. But sometimes when it's like, wait, how did she get here? Wasn't she holographing herself the other week? How do people just get from one place to the other? Where exactly is this Borg cube situated? I don't know. And then this guy apparently knows where all the secret compartments are on the Borg cube. I guess it's going to lead up to something interesting because Soji, if you remember from last week, was almost killed by the, I guess her name is Ramda, this Romulan who was assimilated and then went kind of crazy afterwards. And then she said she's the destroyer. And I think this is something dealing with Romulan lore, Romulan mythology, whatever you want to call it. And at the end of this episode, Lieutenant Rizzo kind of choked her brother into saying, "Do you know who this bitch is?" Oh, speaking of which, because I said bitch, Picard is all in with the cursing, man. They dropped an F-bomb again. I guess just get used to it. It's a show for adults, which it really is. I mean, I can't imagine a kid watching this and actually finding it entertaining. It's very much of a slow burn, but I love the maturity of this slow burn for Star Trek. I think it's cool. It's like watching a drama that just happens to be set in space. I'm not feeling the sci-fi vibes strongly as of yet, other than, of course, they're on a spaceship and they're talking about synthetic life forms and there's aliens, but they're treating this as more of a drama, a mystery, which is cool. Going back to a show that I have not finished yet, but that I really enjoyed. I've only watched the first season, which is The Expanse. that's what I was enjoying about the show. I got to get back to it. I will get back to it. So no spoilers. Don't give me spoilers on The Expanse, guys. But what I like the most about it is that yes, it's sci-fi, obviously, but it's not treated as sci-fi. I mean, it could very well just replace everything for 2020. Maybe, I don't know, America, England, and then, some small island nation. And you have the factions fighting each other and not being sure what the other wants, et cetera, et cetera. All the politics of that show and the murder mystery. So Picard so far is operating on that level, which I think is really cool. It's a different take. It's a different view of what Star Trek can be. And that's what we all need to prepare for in 2020 and beyond with CBS, is what can Star Trek be for modern times. And so far, it's been a lot of cool stuff. So I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, the episode starts with another flashback from 14 years ago in this planet called Vashti, which is a planet where the Romulans were relocated after all the mess from J.J. Abrams. So they're there. They really like Picard at the time because he's trying to help them. They have a lot of respect for him. And he's hanging out with these like warrior nuns, which is whatever, but it was cool. I had no problem with it. Again, and I keep repeating this, it's so weird. But Picard has a Jean-Luc Picard, what am I trying to say? Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart, has really good chemistry with black women. Oh my goodness. Because again, he's acting with a Romulan nun who happens to be played by a black actress, and they're great, man. I don't know what it is with Picard or Patrick Stewart and black women, but he's got something going on there. He's got a little bit of a charm thing going on there. Anyway, I also did like that it was very multiracial. If there's anything that Star Trek didn't do right in its first incarnation, is how it made all the alien races just homogenous. The Romulans all look the same, had the kind of the same similar skin tone, kind of that grayish pale. Klingons obviously were all dark skin. Vulcans more fleshy, more human flesh looking, and on and on and on. The Ferengi and etc. And it's cool that the new generation of Star Trek has said, hey, I mean, these are huge planets. We have a lot of diversity on planet Earth as far as skin tone, height, port, etc. Why wouldn't other planets in the universe? It makes sense. So it's cool. I mean, it was dazzling for me to look and see all these different shades and colors of Romulans. And same with Discovery with the Vulcans, because before that it was Tuvok, the only black Vulcan in the universe. So this is cool. I like that, and it's not pushed on you. It just is. Just get used to it. Going back to the Romulan lady, yeah, she did mention something about there's supposed to be an apocalypse. So who knows where this is going? I like the storyline. I just think, just like the guy said, he's planting some seeds in this girl, this Soji, sorry, to try to figure out where she came from, who built her, and etc. Because the Romulans apparently have something against synthetic life form, like a lot, more than more than normal, more than Janeway had with the holograph of the Doctor for a few seasons. They really, really don't like these guys, and I'd like to know why exactly, but it's not really. I guess it's because of mythology. Are we going there? Is Star Trek going to deal with religion again? That would be awesome. Because, hey, that was DS9's bread and butter, and I thought it was so courageous and so cool that they did that. So I have no problems with Star Trek going deep into religious territory at all, if they do it right. Absolute candor. These warrior nuns, sounds so weird to call them warrior nuns, but that's what they were. Let me see if I can find real quick. Oh, this episode, by the way, was directed by Jonathan Frakes. I didn't feel the Jonathan Frakes touch. I thought I had read that before, but I wasn't sure. I did see what do you call it? A lot of lens flare, more lens flare. That look at this. Am I sharing this screen? Oh, does it change every time? Oh boy. Anyway, so see, you can. It is a behind the scenes here of me because I want to. There we go. A member of the Romulan Order of Nun Assassins, known as the Quat. Oh my God, how do you say that? Quat Melat. Okay, the series is introducing a lot of wild and fun new ideas into Star Trek canon. Yes, they did. So yes, and the Quat Melat adopted the practice of absolute candor, which is very much against what Romulans do. You know, Romulans may not have hidden their emotions like the Vulcans, because you know Romulans and Vulcans, obviously, if you're a Trek fan, kind of come from the same branch, I guess you could call it. But did I share that? I wonder. Sharing this tab to StreamYard. Sharing sci-fi.com to StreamYard. Anyway, so I lost my train of thought. I'm such a professional broadcaster, guys. Look at me. Look at me. This is what happens after a day of working in a high school. I'm a high school teacher. Your brain sort of melts. I start acting like those Romulans that got Borged, assimilated by the Borg. The Fighting Nuns. Yes, the Fighting Nuns. That's where I was. Yeah, kind of a cool concept. Unlike the Vulcans who withhold emotion, the Romulans just withhold everything. They're just not people that you can trust, or a race that you can trust for the most part. So these nuns go against that. They're going to tell you to your face, like somebody might say in the comments, your video sucks. Stop making them. Absolute candor, right? And they have a little kid, Elnor, that they were taking care of 14 years ago. Picard knew the kid, loved the kid. So obviously, when he says he's going to Vashti, yeah, dead giveaway, they're going to pick up the kid. And everybody has been kind of waiting for this moment, which is what's it called? I'm going to put this picture up here. This moment where they meet Legolas. The Legolas, that kid right there. Legolas Romulan. And you know what? I liked him. He's kind of weird, you know. Good looking kid, by the way. And nice sword. But yeah, I mean, I'm just rolling with it. It's not something I'm sure I know how I feel about it, but it's a big universe out there, you know. So I guess we could have a Lord of the Rings sort of feel to Star Trek. Why not? Why not? Why not? I can roll with it. And like I said, he's kind of an interesting character so far. You see, he's got a lot of love for Picard. Oh, we'll get to the fight scene later. By the way, yeah, the fight scene was too much. Oh, and by the way, here we go. Look at this. I'm going to share here. I'm sure there's a quicker way to do this if anybody is a StreamYard person. Look at that. I mean, that's him and the fighting nun. There's the flying nuns, and then there's the fighting Romulan nuns. I prefer the fighting Romulan nuns. They were actually really cool. And, you know, they took care of Legolas for all these years. And when Picard gets to this planet, that's the interesting stuff, okay? He talks to the lady. He realizes that, hey, I really need a fighter because I'm going to take on the, what is it? The Tash. I keep thinking it's the Tasha Yar. It's not the Tasha Yar, right? What are these fighting Romulans called? Anyway, the Tau Shiar, but not the Tasha Yar. Okay, the Tau Shiar. And Picard beams down to this planet. He realizes that, hey, things have changed quite a bit since I've gone down there. As soon as he gets down there, guys are already, hey, Picard's down here. Right? They're plotting against him. They don't attack him. I thought they were going to attack, and the nuns are going to go all crazy and, you know, and fight the Romulans. But they don't. Picard gets rejected. He asked little Elnor to give him his sword. You know, come with me, fight for me. Elnor gets a little hissy fit and says, "You only want me now because you need me, for real." You know, and then he doesn't accept. So then Picard's walking back to be transported up. He walks by a bar that says Romulans only, and then Picard goes, "Social justice warrior." He throws down, well, he doesn't do it violently, he just throws down the sign, steps on it. This was my favorite scene. Because one, I got real, I mean, it's February, guys. It's Black History Month. I totally got sit-in vibes. You know, whites only. Yeah? I'm going to sit down in your restaurant, and what you going to do about it? That was the Picard vibe I got when he did that. I thought it was cool. Sat down. He's asking for a waiter. Waiter doesn't come. And then a black big ass Romulan comes up. He's like, I know who you are. You may not remember me. You gave all these pretty little speeches and all these pretty little promises. And you said you were going to help us, and then you left. And this was such a cool line, because then Picard said, I promised. And the guy's like, exactly. He was like, huh? And why is that a cool line? It's so intricate. Cultural differences, right? Because at the beginning of the episode, Picard talked about how I promised that I would this and this and this. You know, I promised I'd bring you back something from his voyages, right? While Starfleet was still helping the Romulans. And the lead Romulan nun said, don't make promises, because promises are like prisons, okay? And it shows the cultural differences, you know, how in one culture it may be accepted to say, I promised to do this. And in another culture, don't promise me you're going to do something, because you may not be able to actually do what you promised. And that's disrespectful to me, right? And I like that. One, because I'm someone that's like that. I don't make too many promises because I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep everything, you know, keep every promise that I make. So I tend not to make them. I say, I'll try, I'll do my best. Unless, I mean, you don't know. You can't be 100% sure. Is there any time that you can really promise somebody that you're going to do something or be something? I guess you can promise to be something for someone. Like, I promise to be your friend. You know, I promise I won't let go, you know, if you're going through a hard time, I guess. But for the most part, I'm feeling the Romulans on that. Don't make a promise, cultural difference. But then dude he wants to fight Picard, sword to sword combat. And Patrick does a little swashbuckling because Patrick just has to do some swashbuckling. And of course, that's why I'm holding my opinion to the end as far as what grade I give this, because it was kind of predictable in parts. Because then, yeah, of course, Elnor shows up and he's like, don't choose to die. In other words, don't fight this old man. Otherwise, I'm going to kill you. And guy doesn't listen, and that's exactly what he does. And he just, there's a little flip through the air. Very, again, Lord of the Rings. It's, Legolas going up and down the elephants. But it was cool to see, man. Cut his head straight off, and it was so quick. I was like, Choop! And then the head just, falls off. Was that a cool effect? Anyway, so, but the whole build up, because, I don't feel all the Picard speeches. I'm sorry, I'm more of a Kirk guy, and Kirk gives speeches too. But sometimes Picard speeches can be a little bit too much for me. And I know that they're doing their best to, we need to get at least one Picard speech per episode in the Picard show. But I don't need them. But this one was really good. This one was a really good speech because he was like, I'm sorry, we failed you. And even when he was trying to tell the black Romulan what was up, and he was like, listen, we tried. The guy was like, I ain't trying to hear that. Take a sword, man. Let's settle this. They were angry. So they get beamed out at the last second because the guy was like, your sword ain't no match for my disruptor. And just as he's about to shoot him, they beam up. And for those of you who are nitpicky, Elnor was beamed up holding the sword like this, holding his beer sword like this. But then when he got up to transport, it was like in his back. I got beer in my hand, so I guess I got to drink, right? I'm doing it like this because Anyway, so obviously, yeah, a little glitch there in the Matrix for those of you who are nitpicky. And they get up there, Romulan Bird of Prey, which is so cool to see. Ooh, I like the Romulan Bird of Prey. That was so cool. From Star Trek Picard. Oh, come on, guys. Bear with me here. We got to put that up. Star Trek Picard, Romulan Bird of Prey. Old school Romulan Bird of Prey. Old school Romulan. Oh, there it is. Wait up. You got to see it. Oh, this is from Trek Yards, this image. Yeah. I'm looking at it. Obviously, you're not, and I'm taking forever here. But here we go. I got a better picture. Bear with me. I bring gifts. It's the Chrome tab that says Picard trailer. There you go. Share. Ooh, look at that. Ain't it a beauty? Ah, that was so cool to see. And that whole fight scene, it wasn't intense. I never felt tense in it, which might be, but it felt real, which is, I don't know which one I prefer. But it was cool. And then the ship comes at the last minute because who shows up at the last minute? Can you tell I had a little bit to drink and I'm tired? I believe it is on a tab called Star Trek Picard 7 of 9. There she is, Jeri Ryan. And she was badass for 3 seconds. She was on screen before she fell on the floor because her ship was almost blown up. Very, very, very cool. Oh, I so hope that she's a regular, because from the trailers you couldn't really tell if she was going to be a regular or if she was going to just be kind of like Riker and Troy, probably just going to have a little cameo in one episode and then goodbye. But that's badass. That's total badass. You got Elnor and you got Seven of Nine on one ship. Woo! That's fire right there. That's absolute fire. So it's cool to see her. Full disclosure, I was never a huge Seven of Nine fan. It took me a while to warm up to her. And I can definitely understand. I mean, from what I hear, the rumor mill is that Catherine, Mole Girl, she was not so happy when Seven of Nine came on because it took attention away from the captain. And it really did. I mean, it became the Seven of Nine show. And it became all about sex appeal and all about this. And I'm pretty sure that the producers listened, because by end of season 5 to season 6 of Star Trek Voyager, I started to warm up to Seven of Nine, and especially her relationship with Janeway. I thought was really well written and well done and well acted between the two of them, where Janeway became this maternal figure for Seven of Nine. So I warmed up to her, but in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie. Season 4, I think she came in season 4, right? Of Star Trek Voyager. Not my favorite season, actually. And I know it's a lot of people's favorite because of her, but I have to be the contrarian in that wise, because I just thought it took the focus away. And it was just as I started to warm up to Janeway, because Janeway takes a while to warm up to. But right around end of season 2 through most of 3 is when I was like, oh man, Janeway's a badass. I can deal with Janeway. I really like her. I'm digging her style, even though it's kind of insane. She makes some really crazy decisions, but that's not her fault. Blame the writers. But as far as the acting, how Mole portrayed the character, no fault at all. I loved it. And then here comes Seven of Nine, and just like, forget it. The captain, it's the me show. So anyway, long rant right there. So in the end, I did really appreciate her character, and especially as she softened a little bit. And here she is, so I'm pumped. Things are coming together. But man, it's episode 4, which makes me believe that we're only going to get to this Borg Cube, like, penultimate episode. That might be a big episode. Might go Game of Thrones style, the big episode, big battle episode before, kind of letting the pieces fall down. But Game of Thrones had more. I mean, it was an hour long. They had a little bit more time to work with than Star Trek Picard, but we shall see. I don't know, but I'm getting this feeling, guys. So those of you who are feeling like the show's dragging, well, I got bad news for you, because we saw in the next episode they're going to go like Casino Planet. Star Wars, anyone? I hope they do a better job than Star Wars did when it comes to going to a Casino Planet. And they got to find Maddox, which is going to be real interesting. I really want to see what Maddox is up to after all these years. They still apparently have to run into Riker and Troy for whatever reason. Who knows why? So, yeah, it might take a while. Especially the Borg storyline, which apparently is we got A story, B story, much like the original Star Trek, except that it's going to be stretched out for 10 episodes instead of just one episode. So hanker down for this middle part, because it might be, I think we're done with all the setting up. Now we're just going to get more development. And then I guess episode 8, 9, 10 is going to be the bang, bang, boom, where he's actually going to finally run into Soji and see what's up. So anyway, what do I give this episode? Oh man, I've been giving all these episodes 8.5s and 8 point somethings. I was gonna go 7.8, 7.9 because this is the first one that I felt dragged, especially in the beginning, and especially him on the Romulan planet. I mean, it was cool, but it was like a lot of episode to just like get Legolas on the ship. You know, it was like a lot of episode just to get him on the ship. I don't know how else they could have done it other than that, but yeah, it felt dragged a little bit. The Borg storyline, which it been really captivating for me, like when they were sliding together with their shocks. I guess because if they slid, the little sensors wouldn't catch them. I didn't really quite get why they had to slide. If anybody's smarter than me, which I'm sure there are many out there who are, explain that to me because I would love to know what the deal is with that scene. But what else? Yeah, it felt repetitive, you know, because we get the sister again telling the brother again that you're going too slow again, and the brother again kind of, sort of, maybe falling in love with Soji again, and Soji not really being upfront about what she's doing again, and it was a lot of agains and agains and agains on the Borg ship. Um, Whereas the Picard story is moving forward, but it seemed like it took forever for it to move forward. Maybe they could have cut the whole getting on the Romulan planet, whatever it's called, Vashti, a little bit sooner. I don't know. Maybe could Elnor have left the planet and then found Picard on the way, kind of like the way Seven of Nine did? Who knows? Killed two birds with one stone and got him back on the ship. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they could have done it. It wasn't badly written. It definitely wasn't badly acted. So I can't complain too much. But so far, so good. You know, and so because I said 7.9, 7.8, but I can't give it that because it's fucking 7 of 9, guys. It's 7 of fucking 9. And she was cool. It's Jeri Ryan. And there was like some weird Lord of the Ring vibe. That's too weird not to give it a higher score. It's too out there, you know? So I'll give them an 8, a hard 8. You know, so far, Star Trek Picard is averaging out to an 8.2, I guess. If you go 8.5. Yeah. So that's pretty good. That's really good, you know? So until next week, thank you for watching. Please like and please subscribe. I'm watching you. Click. It takes 1 second. Like. Hit the little bell, you know, because like I said, I'll do my best to be here next Thursday, but life in Brazil ain't easy. It is not easy. And that's it. Okay? Until next time, live long and let me get the camera right. Prosper. Oh, and broadcast.